host. Hey there, and welcome back to Heartland Stories, the podcast where we explore the history behind the brands and places that feel like home. Today, we're taking a trip to the scenic Oregon coast, to a place synonymous with creamy, delicious dairy, the Tillamook Creamery. It's more than just a cheese factory, it's a story of perseverance, community, and a commitment to quality that spans over a century. The story of Tillamook begins not with a gleaming modern facility, but with rugged pioneers and a geographic challenge. In the mid-19th century, European settlers arrived in the Tillamook Valley, a lush, temperate region on the Oregon coast. They quickly discovered that the mild climate and abundant rainfall made for perfect grazing land for dairy cows. But there was a problem: transportation. The valley was almost completely isolated from major markets like Portland by the unforgiving Coast Range mountains and dense forests. Fresh milk was highly perishable, and even butter, which lasted longer, was difficult to get to market. The settlers needed a solution. They needed a way to get their products out of the valley and to the people who wanted them. So, in a testament to their ingenuity and determination, they turned to the sea. In 1855, local farmers took matters into their own hands and built a small schooner. They christened it the Morning Star. This humble ship became their lifeline, carrying their precious butter to markets in Astoria and Portland. If you look closely at the Tillamook logo today, you'll see a little ship. That's the Morning Star, a beautiful nod to the company's maritime roots and the spirit of innovation that got it all started. Sound of a ship's horn. Host. While butter was the initial focus, it was cheese that would truly put Tillamook on the map. Cheese was less perishable than butter and could withstand the rigors of travel better. A Canadian cheesemaker named Peter McIntosh arrived in the area and, with his expert knowledge of cheddar making, provided a consistent, high-quality recipe. This recipe became the gold standard for all the cheesemakers in the valley. By the turn of the 20th century, there were dozens of small, independent cheese factories in the Tillamook area. But this created its own set of problems. Quality and flavor could vary wildly from one factory to the next. The farmers and cheesemakers realized that for their products to gain a wider reputation, they needed a unified standard. So, in 1909, 10 of these independent creameries did something revolutionary. They pooled their resources, each contributing a meager $10, and formed a cooperative, the Tillamook County Creamery Association. The goal was simple but powerful: to ensure every block of cheese made in the valley was of the same exceptional quality, consistent in its flavor and texture. This cooperative model, where the farmers themselves own the company and benefit from its success, is still at the heart of Tillamook today. Sound of bustling factory noise and machinery. Host, the 20th century saw Tillamook grow from a local cooperative into a regional powerhouse. The completion of a railroad connection in 1911 made it easier to transport their cheese, and by the 1930s, the brand was gaining a reputation throughout the western United States. During both World Wars, Tillamook secured contracts to provide millions of pounds of cheese to the federal government, further solidifying its place in the national consciousness. In 1949, the cooperative built a large, modern cheesemaking plant, the very one that became a beloved tourist destination on Highway 101. This was a game changer. Suddenly, travelers driving the scenic coastal route could stop, watch the cheesemaking process, and of course, get a scoop of Tillamook's now famous ice cream, which was added to the product lineup in the late 1940s. The Tillamook Cheese Factory became an iconic stop, a must-do for any trip to the Oregon coast. Sound of happy people, kids laughing. Host, for decades, the Tillamook Creamery was a place where generations of families made memories. You could stand behind a glass wall, mesmerized by the giant blocks of cheese being cut and packaged, and then get in line for a heaping scoop of ice cream. In 2018, the old, beloved factory was replaced with a stunning new facility, a modern dairy barn, that offers an even more immersive and educational experience. It's a testament to how the company has grown, while staying true to its roots. Today, Tillamook is more than just a regional brand. With its products now available in stores across all 50 states, it has become a national name recognized for its commitment to dairy done right. But even as it has grown to over $1 billion company, it remains a farmer-owned cooperative. The very people who care for the land, the cows, and the milk are the ones who guide the company's decisions. The story of Tillamook is a story of a community that worked together to overcome adversity. It's a story of a brand that has always prioritized quality over cutting corners. And it's a story that's still being written, one delicious block of cheddar and one creamy scoop of ice cream at a time. Podcast outro music, same folksy tune with cowbell. Host, thanks for joining us on this tour of Tillamook's history. We'll be back next time with another heartfelt story from the heartland.